Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You poor leftoids. You can't hold on to a single narrative these days. What's going on? I mean, seriously, what's going on? Everything is falling apart for you. I feel so bad for you. You guys were in such a good position, such a position of strength where you had control over everything. And slowly but surely, it's all falling apart. Of course, you guys can sense the sarcasm in my voice. I don't feel bad for them at all. In fact, I feel just glorious. Amazing. Their narratives are falling apart faster than you could possibly imagine, one after another. From Nancy Pelosi's husband and the incident that happened in their San Francisco home, supposedly the individual being an unknown Trump supporter, QAnon conspiracy theorist, to the narrative in Colorado Springs falling apart, to now another one very similar to the Colorado Springs incident, although much less tragic and heinous. But of course, still another busted leftist narrative. This one with some comic relief. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. I mean, this one is absolutely hilarious. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, take a look at this from the Daily Wire. They put it all together. Although most of this transpired on Twitter the other day. Narrative busted. Man throwing bricks at New York City gay bar was actually a gay man enacting revenge, police say. Would you be surprised if a string of recent hate crimes against a popular New York City gay bar were actually carried out by a gay man? Of course not. You're a reader of the Daily Wire and well educated on hate crime hoaxes. Nonetheless, let's talk about a recent story about the Big Apple. Over the last month, Furs, a gay bar in Hell's Kitchen, has experienced 4 separate incidents of an individual throwing bricks through its windows. And so, of course, what did leftoids do? Well, they do what they always do. New York City Council member Eric Botcher writes, "This man has thrown bricks at the window of Furs Bar, New York City 4 times in recent weeks. These are hate crimes against the LGBTQ+ community. Please help us identify him. If you have any information, please contact NYPD Hate Crimes at," and they list all the information. Mark D. Levin responds, "The epidemic of anti-LGBTQ+ violence is national. A well-known gay bar on Manhattan's West Side has been attacked repeatedly in recent weeks. We cannot stand for this." Here's the clip. And here is already where the narrative started to slowly fall apart, because people do what they usually do. They started dissecting the video evidence frame by frame. What exactly is going on here? Trying to pay attention, trying to identify the individual. And well, most people, while going frame by frame, notice something. Notice something about the man's throw. If you pause it on certain frames, or if you watch the whole thing slowed down, well, his toss seems a little bit, how can I put this? Lacking athleticism. Lacking testosterone. And of course, the memes already started to roll in. A lot of people saying, yeah, pretty sure you got this one wrong. I don't think it's a hate crime. There's probably something else going on here. This individual doesn't seem like he'd be attacking this community, but rather that he's probably part of this community. Lo and behold, memes turned into reality. The suspect currently in custody for the attacks is 34-year-old Sean Cullen. Cullen is not being charged with a hate crime. Why not? Well, he's gay. According to the New York Post, New York Chief of Detectives James Essig claimed the suspect vandalized the place in defense of some gal he knows. Basically, what he is saying is that he knows a girl who had a problem with one of the guys in the bar, and he was exacting revenge, Essig told the paper. As of right now, we don't have any reason to believe that it's a hate crime. Indeed, Cullen told authorities, "I'm gay myself," as they took him out of the paddy wagon and into the court earlier this week. Who would have seen that one coming? But of course, did that stop all of these leftists and even these New York City officials from promoting this as a hate crime without any information? No, of course not, because that's exactly what they do. It's another Juicy Schmollgay incident. While it might not be the same, I mean, it's not the individual perpetrating the act who's trying to create a hate crime hoax, the media certainly is doing all of that work for him, whether he wants that or not, because that's what the media does. Perpetuating these fake narratives in order to do what? In order to instill fear in the minds of the public that there's these roaming, evil Trump MAGA chuds going around committing hate crimes. They tried to do do the exact same thing with the whole Stop Asian Hate Crime narrative, which once again also fell apart, actually very similar to this one and also coming out of New York. They tried to frame that narrative as a result of Trump's America, hate crimes on the rise, because of these terrible Republicans, in deep blue New York City. But once again, CCTV camera footage comes to the rescue, and it turns out that it certainly wasn't MAGA hat wearing vandals committing those actual hate crimes in New York City. This is what these leftoids do. They craft the narrative first and then try to justify it or fabricate examples to justify it later. And of course, it's not just the naivete, it's not confusion, it's not emotional people rushing to judgment, it's a calculation. They know exactly what they're doing. How many people do you think are paying attention or are aware of this narrative now being exposed? Of this supposed hate crime, well, not being a hate crime at all. And the individual and his attack on the LGBTQ plus community, well, himself being part of said community. How many people do you think are aware of the end result here? How many people do you think are paying attention to the fact check? Not too many. Are New York City authorities issuing public corrections? I don't think so. Are publications issuing corrections? I don't think so. And even if they are, they never get as much traction as the initial post. I guarantee you millions of people saw this story when it was going viral initially. I guarantee you a bunch of people made their assumptions and opinions based on the initial reports, and they still believe that. Like I always say, people still think that Donald Trump colluded with the Russians because nobody pays attention to the facts that follow later on. People pay attention to the initial headline, the initial reporting, the narrative that's created, and then fall off later on. And so, of course, these government and media actors know exactly what they're doing. These aren't just little mistakes, little whoopsies. This was another convenient event which happened on the 20th of November, which they could use to pile on to this narrative that a particular community is now under attack. Continue to fearmonger about the extremist MAGA threat. It's all according to plan. And just think about how despicable it is. You know that they're doing this on purpose because you just read through the comments. Of course, there's a good amount of gullible people who are buying the narrative hook, line, and sinker, but there's also a good chunk of people who immediately question this. I watched the security footage myself and I was a little bit skeptical, to say the least. I wasn't getting a hate crime vibe from the video, let's just say that. You're telling me that the people investigating this stuff, who see this stuff, and who are supposedly trained in getting to the bottom and not letting their bias influence their investigation, you're telling me that those people, that these New York City officials, didn't have the same skepticism that we did? Give me a break. They purposely disregarded it, obviously. They were dishonest from the start. They knew exactly what they were doing. And just think about how evil that is, to take a sensitive topic like this and to use it as a fear-mongering tool in the media. That's so manipulative. It's so wrong for the people who are part of the LGBTQ community. They're creating a false sense of risk. They're making a group of people feel as though they are under attack when they are not. Well, maybe I'm not going to say that they're not, because obviously they do face certain issues. What happened in Colorado Springs, for instance, we don't have the whole facts, but anyways, the point is they're making the risk seem a whole lot worse than it is. And it's the exact same thing that they do with the police brutality narrative, making people fearful, causing panic, causing division, causing hatred, instead of promoting a healthy dialogue and instead of focusing on the facts. This is why I say and I maintain that the media and that these government actors who do this kind of thing, they're not just fake news, they're not just partisans or activists. What they're doing is evil, absolutely evil. And the level of dishonesty is just astounding, and it's getting worse. And that's why we're seeing so many of their narratives fall apart these days. That's why they have such an image problem and the whole thing is slowly falling apart. You can only be so dishonest and so malicious for so long until it starts to backfire. And here's another example of malicious dishonesty gone wrong. Another epic fail, a total backfire, another hate crime hoax to add to the list of hate crime hoaxes and fake news backfires. They just continue to pile up. That's what I got for you guys though. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you guys are up for it. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.